It is extremely healthy to eat conventional fruit and conventionally grown vegetables. It's extremely healthy to do that. And it's not healthier or unhealthier than eating organic food. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Mark. I am a real professor at a real university with real students, and we do real research. So in our first episode of Science or Not, we're going to look at misinformation mostly on YouTube and mostly related to agriculture and food and nutrition. And we're going to look at somebody very famous today, Dr. William Li. So let's just get into it and see what Dr. Li says.
First of all, how important is organic?
First of all, you'd be surprised. I was just in the Asian market the other day, an Asian market that's not too far from where I live, and I was actually able to find organic foods there. And so many foods, you could just ask the grocer, and they'll be able to tell you. So don't just take what's in front of you. Ask those questions if it's important for you to ask. Now, you asked an exciting question to me because it's an area of my research. How important is organic? First of all, let me just be really clear.
And we're 30 seconds into the video and I already have to stop it. That's pretty good, you know. Throwing everything organic into one bucket is very confusing and also misleading because organic practices can vary a lot across the farmers and the production areas. And they're very far from pesticide free. They're just using different types of pesticides, usually organic pesticides or biopesticides. But there are also a couple of chemicals that they can still use that are allowed in organic production. So thinking that an organic produce is completely pesticide free is not necessarily true. Just wanted to put this out there because I'm pretty sure I know already where this is going. And this is already going into like a very weird direction. All right, let's keep on going.
I had for years been a skeptic of organic foods.
Well, so far, so good.
Okay, I'm not anymore.
And it goes down the drain.
But the reason I was a skeptic is because I kind of felt like it rubbed me the wrong way. Why should I pay more money to buy a food that's grown without chemicals in a more natural form so that I could actually have the privilege of avoiding pesticides? Like it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way that it would be marketed something that was more natural and had less chemicals. I had to pay more money to actually get the more natural stuff.
All right, guys. Let me back up here a little bit. All right. I think we already talked about this. So organic produce is not grown without the use of any pesticides. Typically, organic produce is used without certain pesticides, like mostly, chemically or synthetically produced pesticides, but there is a whole range of biopesticides that can be used in organic produce. What is true is that typically a lot of more biological control agents and other cultural practices are deployed in organic farming versus non-organic farming. But again, the range of how they're employed and who's employing them and depends a lot on where the crop is grown, what kind of crop is grown, etc. So it's a big bucket of things. All right. So to be very clear, this is already wrong information that this person is putting out there into the ether of the internet. But let's see what else he's saying.
Right. Well, there's another reason that research now has shown very definitively the advantage of organic foods. And I want everyone to really hear this because it's important. This is science, not marketing.
Oh, now I'm interested. Let's see what he knows about science.
All right. Turns out that a study was done and published in the journal Nature by an agricultural group, horticultural group in England. And they were looking at strawberries. Now, strawberries, as we all know, have a very thin skin. You can't peel a strawberry very easily.
Okay, so before we continue with this, I work with strawberries quite a bit, so I feel like I know a lot about the crop of strawberries, and I'm very interested in where this is going. But one thing that you already should, if you want to look out for misinformation on the internet, It's a really good way to start a conversation that sounds sciencey with there was a study done that was published in the journal blah blah blah. You know, scientific research is based on a body of knowledge. One study is part of a larger body of knowledge that a lot of people put out there, and a lot of people try to add to the knowledge that we then all digest and make a synthesis out of it, as in terms of like what we know. So one study doesn't really say anything other than that there was one study.
And so a strawberry that's grown conventionally with pesticides, those pesticides are going to be stuck on that skin. And because the skin is very thin, the pesticides will tend to penetrate inside that flesh, right? Nobody wants to eat a pesticide, a chemical-laden strawberry, right? Okay.
All right. So this is a lot of fear mongering. What's true is that there can be pesticide residues in conventional produced produce, as it can be in organic produce, but very, very rare. So that's the truth. The truth is also that those pesticide residues are extremely low, a lot lower than what even EPA or even European health organizations see as a dangerous level of pesticide in 1 gram of fruit, let's say. So those levels are usually very, very low and really negligible, and wouldn't do any harm unless you would eat like 5 tons of strawberries a day or something stupid like that. And the health benefits that fruit and vegetables in general have are a lot better than a lot more important than only buying organic produce because you think conventional produce is like toxic. That's not the case. It is not the case. Right.
What the researchers did is they wanted to compare not the level of pesticides between conventional versus organic strawberries. They wanted to look at something that I care about, which is the bioactives, the good stuff in strawberries. Among many good stuff in strawberries, there's something called ellagic acid. Ellagic acid is what makes a strawberry tart. Like strawberries are sweet and a little tart. Ellagic acid makes it a little tart. And it turns out ellagic acid is...
All right. Let's talk about ellagic. There was actually quite some research. There's a body of knowledge on ellagic acid. There's also a body of knowledge on what if organic practices versus conventional practices really make a difference in, not just ellagic acid, but also other chemistry components of a strawberry, like, for example, sugar levels or general acid levels, etc. And it is very inconclusive at this point of time. The research that he's citing here, there might be this one paper out, but this is very cherry picking. All right. So at the moment, the research shows overall the body of knowledge is inconclusive, which means it is not necessarily true that organic farming has an impact on the quality of the fruit.
So powerful. It actually can cut off the blood supply to cancers.
So that is bullshit. All right. So now we're getting into maybe he's interpreting the science wrong to the bullshit territory. And there's research that is looking at how much ellagic acid or how is high ellagic acid fruit. There's a certain range of fruit and vegetables that have high ellagic acid. How is that impacting the health of individuals? But none of this research is showing that if you eat like an organic strawberry, you will cure your cancer. That is not true. And go to the doctor. Don't eat healthy. I'm totally with Dr. Lee on like eating healthy. Vegetables and fruit should be a big horticulture crops should be a big portion of your diet. That's very healthy. But eating organic strawberries and thinking you cure cancer with this, that is...
You can eat strawberries to actually starve cancers.
No, you can't. You cannot eat strawberries that starve cancers.
It also is really a powerful antioxidant. It stimulates your stem cells to repair your organs. Is also...
I don't want to talk about every single... He's making so many content. We are only in minute 3.
Also feeds your gut microbiome, and it also is helpful for lowering inflammation as well, right? This is
Okay. We don't know a lot about the gut microbiome because it's a really, really young field of research. Before we had deep sequencing, we couldn't do a lot with the gut microbiome. So it's really like 15 years old, that field of research. So there's a lot we don't know about the gut microbiome versus very little that we actually know about the gut microbiome. We certainly don't know that if you eat an organic strawberry, you get like a healthy gut microbiome. There's zero research that is even pointing into that direction. Zero. There's zero research that points in this direction. Eat a strawberry, eat fresh fruit, eat vegetables, organic, non-organic. It really doesn't matter that much.
Really, really awesome natural chemical in Mother Nature's pharmacy, not with a PH, but with an F, that's found in a strawberry. Now, here's what the surprise is. When you compare the conventionally grown strawberry, treated with pesticides, looks pretty because bugs aren't eating it. Okay, there's no bugs or insects.
Okay, Dr. Lee. I don't know what to say. It's like a lot of bullshit. This is coming from somebody who probably never was on a farm. On a real farm. Maybe in the backyard. And I'm not talking about like your backyard gardeners. Okay, like you should garden, and that's fine, but that's not farming. Those are two different things. Like in the backyard gardening, you should do that pesticide free. Of course you should, and you shouldn't use a lot of pesticides unless you really need to. And that's fine, but that's not farming. Farming is like a whole different business. All right. And that's what feeds us. It's not your backyard. You would not be able to feed everyone with your backyard. You're not even able to feed yourself with your backyard. How do you want to feed the rest of the people? Okay. In an organic field, you have less tools available to manage those pests and diseases, which means they're more prevalent, which then also means you have lower yields. That is the reason you have to pay more money. All right. Let's move on.
Swarming around a pesticide-treated strawberry, and you compare it to an organic strawberry, okay, where bugs have actually been nibbling at it. If you compare the ellagic acid, there's a lot more, 3 times more ellagic acid.
I looked this up. That's not true. There's some research that shows that ellagic acid is a little bit higher in organic, not 3 times, but a little bit higher. But there's also other research that doesn't see any difference between the ellagic acid and organic conventional strawberries. So again, this is like he's cherry picking stuff here.
In the organic grown strawberry, there's 3 times more of the good stuff compared to the organic. Now, why is that? This is what's really amazing. Turns out that ellagic acid, like many of these bioactives, are Mother Nature's natural insecticides and pesticides.
Okay. All right. So there are 2 things. First of all, Mother Nature. Okay. So he's right that ellagic acid and a whole lot of other compounds, these mostly phenolic compounds, are part of the normal defense of a plant. Okay, typically against like diseases and pests, like what kind of like he's kind of there, not 100%, but he's kind of there. That is mostly driven by genetics. It's not necessarily, it's also driven by environment, but mostly by genetics. So mostly by what type of strawberry is grown. Okay, for example, what cultivar of strawberry is grown. A lot more so than by the environment where it's grown in. Again, he's kind of right, but then he's also kind of wrong.
And so what happens is that in a organically grown plant, you actually have these little bugs that are nibbling on the leaves and the stems of the strawberry.
If the organic grower has little bugs nibbling on the leaves and the stems, he's going to do something about it. Believe me that. Because you want to sell your strawberries, or you want to at least harvest your strawberries, I guess.
Chewing at it, and this whole strawberry plant reacts to that nibbling by creating more of a natural pesticide, natural insecticide called ellagic acid. Loads up the fruit with it to protect the fruit, because that's actually what's going to be responsible for the reproductive health, so that strawberry plant can live to grow another day, right? And so organic has more.
Okay, all right. So strawberry plants are very complex creatures, but that's a different planet. That's a different topic for a different day. He's not 100% wrong. If you have more disease pressure, you will see like a peak in like some of those protective compounds in the plant. Again, as I said, this is more driven by the cultivar and the genetics of the plant than by the actual environment. And again, there's the body of knowledge on the amount of ellagic acid and other phenolic compounds in organic versus non-organic fruit. Also in strawberries, it's also again very inconclusive. There are some studies that showed a little bit more, other studies didn't. So again, he's cherry picking at the best, and at the worst, he's lying.
Of the natural bioactive, whereas the pesticide treated or conventionally grown, it keeps away the bugs. Bugs aren't nibbling. Plant looks a little better, all right, but actually it doesn't need to produce as much of the ellagic acid. This has been shown not only for strawberries, but peaches, even coffee beans. Organic coffee, fair trade, organic, actually has a lot more of another biochemical a bioactive called chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is incredibly powerful for streamlining your metabolism and actually improving your blood flow as well.
Okay, all right. So if you drink a cup of coffee, your blood flow is increased, whether it's organic or non-organic, it doesn't matter. Higher ellagic acid in the strawberry will actually lead to better health. It's also extremely inconclusive. You have to eat a lot of strawberries to get to like a, physiologically active, amount of ellagic acid that actually will do something in your body. So,
and here's another example with coffee, where the organic version is better for you, and we've actually measured it. We found 3 times more of the good stuff.
I wonder who's we. So, for all I know, and I might be wrong, Dr. Lee, please, if I'm wrong, just let me know. But for all I know, you have not published research on that. I tried to find it, didn't find it. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you have actually published research that we can read that shows that you find 3 times more of the good stuff in coffee beans, then please send it to us, or please link it in your video so that we can read it, so that I don't have to go on Google Scholar and do like all this crap just not to find you. All right? Other than that, I have not found any other publication or any other scientific body of knowledge that shows us consistently throughout all the studies that in organic produce, be it coffee, be it peaches, be it strawberries, whatever he says here, we have higher, health benefit active substances than non-organic. Not consistently. There are some that show that, but there are also some that don't show that.
And there's an explanation. Little natural bugs and pests actually nibbling at the leaves and stems of our plants actually prompt them to actually secrete more of the good stuff. Now, I'm actually willing to pay more to get more good stuff. I don't want to be paying more to get less bad stuff. I look at it now, it's just completely changed my mind about organic foods. And so now when I have a chance, I will actually look for the organic.
That was a long answer with a long comment. Again, I said it before. There's the body of knowledge on this is very inconclusive.
I love that. And I love the explanation. That makes a lot of sense. Sure. And it's kind of riffing off what you just said there. We have this mentality up till this point of paying for volume and calories. But what this does is flips that on its head. And even though we're paying more for organic, we can look at it like we're paying more, but we're getting more nutrition. So there's the value there.
Okay. All right. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is, I see this guy, I have no idea who this is, but I see this guy as like the uninformed person who's listening to this Dr. Lee and then just takes his advice, and it sounds all very sciencey if he explains it. He probably is a lot better explaining it than I do because I talk a lot. But it's wrong. It is wrong. So any horticulture, any fruit or vegetable crop will provide a lot of nutrition. You don't buy fruit and vegetable crops for calories. You buy fruit and vegetable crops to get nutrition, to get fiber. So whether or not organic or non-organic is not that big of, doesn't have that big of an impact. You can buy a non-organic strawberry, a conventionally grown strawberry, and you get a lot of nutrition out of that. And if you want to do something really good, then you go to like a local farm that grows strawberries maybe 5 miles down the road and buy it there. Okay, that makes a lot of impact on your community and also on you, because you can actually walk through the field and see how a strawberry field actually looks like. That has a lot more impact than not buying conventional food, conventional produce, because you think it's bad for you. It is not bad for you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is misinformation that leads to very, very misinformed consumers that then make wrong decisions to the detriment of their health.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say too.
I think it's important we come at this from another perspective as well. So we know that the nutrients are up, and this is something not a lot of people are talking about, so I'm glad you went into detail there. But let's talk about it, and this ties into something you brought up.
Did he? Did he really went into detail?
A couple times, the microbiome. So what happens with that strawberry example when it is sprayed with pesticides, which is there to, keep pests away, and then it goes into our digestive system, and we have all our good bugs there, hopefully a lot of good bugs. How does our body react with those chemicals?
Yeah, it's a great question. So let me kind of back up, and what we're talking about here is bacteria.
No. Wrong. Already wrong. And oh my God, this is going to take forever, guys. So already wrong. No, we're not talking about bacteria. We're talking the microbiome is the sum of all microbiome, all the microbes that live in our gut system, our gut microbiome. All right. So that's not just bacteria. That's fungi, that's yeast, that's eukaryotes. That's a lot of different bugs that are living in our system. Everything which comes out of this now, everything from here on is going to be like completely bullshit, because to be honest, we have no idea what eating a strawberry that has been grown conventionally will do to our microbiome compared to eating a strawberry that has been grown organically. As far as we know, at this point of time, nothing. Zero difference. But let's go ahead.
Microbiome is really an ecosystem bacteria, about 39 trillion bacteria that lives in our gut. Actually, lives all over our body.
So I don't know where this number is coming from. Usually, like, if we count all the organisms that we have, and that's like from every person is different, but we're talking more like 100 trillion organisms or individuals, not just 39 or whatever.
In every orifice, your ears, your nose, your nostrils, your mouth, your anus. I mean, every place there's an opening, there's bacteria. But here's the crazy thing. Inside our body, we're packed with bacteria at the lower end of our gut.
Not just bacteria and not just the lower end of our gut. I don't know where he has those information from. He's also not citing any papers anymore that he found magically, but that he doesn't provide any links or anything to. But this is completely wrong.
Okay, it's in an area that the home, the Great Barrier Reef of these natural bacteria in our body is in a part of the colon called the cecum. CECUM, and if you're in the medical field, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's a part of the organ system that a lot of people aren't familiar with.
That's also not true.
Because I used to wonder, like, okay, so where does a microbiome? Where do all these bacteria live? It's called the cecum. All right. So when I went to medical school, I was very quickly in the first week of school taught bacteria are bad, and you're going to learn and memorize all the bacteria that are bad. And then you're going to actually take pharmacology, and we're going to teach about all the drugs, antibiotics that can be used to kill the bad bacteria.
Yeah. And you know why he learned that in medical school? Because there are some really nasty bacteria out there that actually can, kill you. That is why he learns this in medical school.
Right. And of course, even in kindergarten, we're always told, wash your hands, get rid of the bacteria,
Yeah. And you know why? Because you should wash your hands.
Take a shower. All these kinds of messages about bacteria that have made us as a modern society shun, maybe even be a little repelled by this idea of bacteria.
What the is he talking about? Okay, guys. All right. I don't know where this is all of a sudden coming from, but please continue washing your hands, continue taking showers. Washing your hands is one of the main things you can do to stop spreading, diseases from one person to another. So this is, I don't know where this is coming from, but please continue doing this.
Well, turns out it's true. There are some bacteria that are really bad actors, and they cause all kinds of problems.
It's very true.
But by and large, most of the bacteria that we will encounter in our lives are inside our body, not outside our body. And most of the bacteria are good, not bad. And that's what we call our gut microbiome.
All right, guys. So, yeah, Well, I mean, he's true. Like most of the bacteria don't cause diseases necessarily, but there are some that do. So, like, don't stop washing your hands. Just continue washing your hands. All right. And this good and bad bacteria can do a lot of different things. They don't care if they're good to you or bad to you. They just do what they do. And our body, as like every other organism on this world, has mostly evolved with those. So for the most part, they don't cause any diseases, but some do. And sometimes they can also be in your gut. But
Our gut microbiome actually is an ecosystem of 39 trillion bacteria, most of it living inside our
that
gut.
is again wrong. Our gut microbiome is an ecosystem of around 100 trillion bacteria, fungi, yeasts, eukaryotes, and other organisms that live in our gut.
Inside our gut. And what they do inside our gut is they eat the food that our body doesn't digest. Let me explain.
Okay, so that's also not true. What they do in our gut is they eat what we eat. All right. They don't care if we can digest it or not. If they get it, they eat it. They're very simple. They also don't eat it like they don't have a mouth and eat it. They basically metabolize it. And then they develop, if you will, so a lot of other things, vitamins and stuff that we can use then in return. But that is basically, it's not like we're eating first and then we're giving it to them. That's not how it works at all.
So you take a bite of an apple, all right? And
I hope it's pesticide free.
our human bodies are going to absorb the natural fructose, the sugars in the apple. We're going to get the vitamins. We're actually going to get some of the other nutrients that are going to be absorbed into our body. But there's a lot of fiber that's going to be left over, right? The skin that you eat if it's an organic apple.
All right, so the gut microbiome eats apple skin, but not the nutrients that we have in the apple. This guy, holy mother, what the is he talking about?
The fiber there's a lot of fiber in apple or pear, and then that fiber trickles down your 40 feet of intestines all the way to the cecum, and the bacteria there, you're feeding your bacteria this leftover stuff. Whatever we don't absorb goes to the bacteria. I'm going to come back to that point because you're asking why are the chemicals not so good for us? It's because our bacteria get fed. But if it's normal healthy food, normal healthy fiber, our bacteria eats that fiber, and in payback for feeding them, the love that our bacteria show for us is they produce metabolites that are anti-inflammatory. These are called short chain fatty acids, or SCAFAs, and they lower inflammation. They promote healing.
Okay. All right. So now we're getting back into like all this bull. All right. So I think I agree with him as far as I would say a healthy diet, a lot of fruit and vegetables and other food groups, like eat out of all the food groups, will promote health. Okay. That is pretty clear. The mechanisms how it does so, they're not that very clear. Okay. It is extremely healthy to eat conventional fruit and conventionally grown vegetables. It's extremely healthy to do that. And it's not healthier or unhealthier than eating organic food. Or the other way around. Eating organic food is not healthier or unhealthier than eating non-organic food. That is just a myth. And that's what he's saying. He's saying if you eat healthy vegetables, and what he means by that is if you eat healthy organic, produce. Because he thinks that the pesticide residues will directly affect your gut microbiome. And that is so, there's no research that has shown this, like zero research.
They streamline our blood lipids. They make our insulin sensitivity better, which is an important part of our metabolism. So the fuel is actually more rapidly absorbed into our bloodstream. Nobody wants to have lots of glucose, lots of blood sugar at high levels all day long. And not good for our bodies. Okay, it's like being stuck in a bathtub too long.
I don't know what the he's talking about, but I don't understand how he comes from strawberries into too high blood sugar levels.
Or swimming pool too long. You know how your fingers wrinkle? That's not what you want. So you want your blood sugar to be...
I'm getting high blood pressure just by listening to this guy.
Readily absorbed into our cells. Okay, these are just partially what we know are gut bacteria.
But again, putting that information in conjunction with conventional versus organic produce is like so wrong. It is so wrong.
It does for us. So we got to feed them well. Feeding them like 3 times a day is kind of like having a pet. Our bacteria,
No, actually, our microbiome is now seen as an additional organ of us, not like a pet. It's not a pet. It's not a dog. It's not a cat. It's not a pig or whatever the your pet is, but it is seen as an additional organ.
if you have a dog, a cat, a parakeet, a goldfish, most of us are responsible pet owners, so we make sure that we feed them our kibble or the flakes every single day or the seeds, right? Now, most of us will choose what kind of food we're actually feeding our pet. You don't want to feed your dog crap, right? You want to choose carefully. You want to take care of your animal. Well, that's basically what eating whole foods that are as good as possible, high quality whole foods. That's what we're feeding our gut microbiome.
Okay. All right. So here's something I can agree with him on. Whole foods. I agree. Like eating healthy is pretty important.
All right. And they pay us back by giving us health through these short chain fatty acids.
And through a lot of other things, but we're not going there.
Okay, let's go back to your question. What about foods that are laden with synthetic chemicals, artificial preservatives, artificial sweeteners, by the way, is another big offender. All right. What happens is that we're feeding or we're eating it. Oh, there's no calories in artificial sweetener. This cheap shelf-stable stuff with artificial flavor tastes really great, goes down the gullet. We absorb relatively little because it doesn't have as many nutrients as the normal whole food. The rest of it, where does it go? We don't just poop it out. We're feeding our gut bacteria, that 39 trillion population, and we're feeding them crap. We're feeding them chemicals. We're feeding them things that they shouldn't be eating. Okay, imagine if you fed your pet dog. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I think this is a lot of fear mongering there again. This doesn't. If you eat whole foods, organic or conventional, they're going to be good for you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Really terrible quality food, chemical food all the time.
It's not terrible quality. It's good quality food.
I don't think your dog's going to last that long. Okay, all the problems that your vet tells you that the dogs, can have if you feed them poor quality food, that's what we're doing to our gut with all these artificial synthetic things. And so that's the reason why we need to take good care. Like this whole idea of the pregnant mom saying, I have to watch what I eat because I'm eating for 2. Well, guess what? Each of us, we're eating for 39 trillion. In fact, we are feeding our gut microbiome, and we have that responsibility. If we treat our gut microbiome well, they will treat our health well.
We made it through the video, people. That was really rough. Holy I did not expect that. I would say on whether or not he sticks with science, he's getting a German 1 out of 10 because he's definitely making up as he goes. Holy crap. Can he talk? Yes, he's getting like a 6 out of 10 for talking, maybe even a 7 out of 10. And do you want to follow his advice? I agree with him on like eating healthy. That's pretty much the extent of what I agree with him on. So let's say he's getting a 3 out of 10 for following his advice. I'm ending it here. See you guys later. If you haven't done, subscribe to my channel. See you guys then. Bye-bye.